What is good, people of YouTube? Orashade here, and today we are attempting to beat Pokemon Alpha Sapphire with only a Buizel. So Buizel, a pure water type Pokemon that for a solo run actually has some nice stats. It can function as a mixed attacker, albeit with a preference to its physical attack. And its speed stat being 85 means we can actually take advantage of our mixed attacking stats, hitting hard and hitting fast. There are a few downsides though. Our defensive stats are pretty low, so we probably won't be taking many hits at all. On top of this, our move coverage isn't that amazing. We do get Ice Beam, which is nice, and we do get the stronger version of that, which is Blizzard. Also, our ability is situational at best. It boosts our speed in the rain, something that doesn't really need boosting. In fact, the rain by itself is more helpful than what our ability offers us, as the rain would boost our water moves. Anyway, leave a comment on what level you think we might win this run, if at all. And as always, the rules of the run are in the description. And so without further ado, let us do further and begin the challenge. So I use a randomizer to replace Mudkip with Buizel, given the rival Trico, but considering the rival in Hoenn isn't really that strong, it probably won't end up making that much of a difference to the run. Anyway, I named the Buizel Jeff Jr. This is a reference to something, but it is more of an inside joke with a small group of people. Yeah, don't worry about the reference on this one. Here's our stats and nature at the start. Being a relaxed nature, we have less speed for more defense, not ideal losing from our best stat, and if anything, I probably wanted a neutral nature. Speed should still be high enough for most things we come against. Our first rival battle shows an early reason as for why I love Buizel and why I wanted to do a run with it. It's one of the few Pokemon who learns a move I wish was so much stronger than what it is, just because of its name, Sonic Boom. A move that will always hit for 20 HP, which makes the early game fairly easy. Although, when I say early game, I mean very early game. As our first fight against a team Aqua Grunt, we've already lost the ability to one-shot Pokemon with Sonic Boom. And we've only basically just lost the tutorial portion of the game, so yeah, that's not great. Maybe I actually need Water Gun to win the first gym. Still gonna try and fail it first though. Roxanne leads the battle off with a Geodude, and with our limited options of attacks with Sonic Boom and Quick Attack, we use Sonic Boom, seeing that it will be 2 hits as the Geodude uses Rock Tomb, almost doing half health to us, and more importantly dropping our speed, as we then follow up with another Sonic Boom to get the first KO. Nose Pass is next, and despite the speed drop from the first Rock Tomb, we're still faster, and so here Sonic Boom, as a Rock Tomb brings us to only 7 HP before our Oranberry heals us back up a little bit, but it won't be enough if Nosepass uses Rock Tomb again, so it's a good thing it uses Tackle instead, which we can survive and land one last Sonic Boom to get our first gym badge. We also get our first move of the run that can do super effective damage with Rock Tomb. After that battle, our journey takes us over to the island of Newford, and the first thing we do here is pick up the Silk Scarf. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using any normal moves, but hey, I mean it's nice to keep the option of a boost available. Speaking of things coming available, just before we get to Brawly, we get our first water type move of the run. Sure, it may only be Water Gun, but hey, I mean at least it's Stab. It's not long till it gets its first use either, as it's our opening move against Brawly. Although it does do less than I expect, we do get hit by a Karate Chop via the Machop, and a second Water Gun takes Machop low, as a Seismic Toss activates our Oranberry. Then they heal as we Water Gun, and follow up with a Sonic Boom, seeing if it would do more damage, bringing it low but not enough for the KO, and we get knocked down to only 9 HP before we actually do get the KO on the Machop. Makuhita is next, and opens with a bulk up as we Sonic Boom. We then Water Gun as it uses Sand Attack to drop our accuracy, but thankfully that doesn't play a part of the next turn, as Water Gun gets the KO and secures the win. And also another TM that we won, in bulk up. But you know, we really shouldn't have won either of these gyms at first try, and yet we somehow have. Heading back towards the mainland, we end up in Slateport, and we go and visit a market just on the edge of town, where we can buy a new item that we want. The Sea Essence allows us to boost our water moves by 20%. Armed with our new item, we have a fight against May, and first up is a Slugma, and with it being the fire type, I take the opportunity to use Bulk Up, raising our attack and our defense, as it uses Ember. A Water Gun then nearly gets the Oko, before a follow-up Water Gun does get the KO. Our starter Pokemon Buizel is on the field next, and uses a Buizel as we use Rock Tomb, dropping its speed, which may have been pivotal as the next turn we outspeed Buizel and land a critical Rock Tomb. So all she has left is one of my favourite Pokemon, Wailmer, and due to Wailmer's massive HP stat, we don't do much damage with Rock Tomb, but it also can hardly hurt us, with it not really having that many great moves. So it really comes down to if Rock Tomb will miss, which thankfully it doesn't, and we end up winning the fight. Now that May isn't blocking the way, we can continue on our journey. And we actually buy a new move as well, being Power Up Punch. If this was a Gen 3 game, this move wouldn't assist. But this is a fighting move which isn't strong in terms of base power, but it does raise our attack after every use. I haven't said this in a while, we go from one rival fight right into another rival fight. Although, they kinda only have one Pokemon. So yeah, was a pretty easy win. Okay. So the third gym is electric type, and knowing my luck recently with paralysis outside of these runs, I equipped the Cherry Berry. First up is Magnemite, who we can hit for super effective damage thanks to our Power Up Punch, as it uses Thunder Wave, already using up our Cherry Berry. For our second Power Up Punch gets a KO, and has us at +2 attack. To my surprise, considering the nature we have, we outspeed Voltorb, as it uses Charge, because hitting us for a super effective damage is apparently below it. So the next turn, we KO it with another punch. And I think we lost it, as it has Sturdy. When we get the Oko. Yeah, so apparently it doesn't have Sturdy. The Magnemite earlier in the battle had Sturdy, but Magneton has Magnet Ball instead. Who knew? Time to go move hunting. First we pick up Secret Power, an extremely interesting move, as the effect of this move is dependent on where the battle is happening. But the main one we'll be focusing on is the inside of a battle effect, of having a 30% chance to cause a paralysis. The next move that we want to get is a lot simpler to understand, and is a move that's appeared quite a bit on this channel already, that is Dig. Things go from 0 to 100 real quick after that, as we take a detour to fight Team Aqua over an active volcano. Archie leads off with a Mighty Anna, who, being a dark type, we use Power Up Punch to boost our attack and knock it out. Golbat is next, and so we use our priority Aqua Jet, almost getting the one shot on it, as it uses a wing attack. But the follow-up turn, another Aqua Jet does get the KO this time. Last is a signature Sharpedo, but with it also being a dark type, we can just one-shot it with our Power Up Punch and get the win. Things don't cool down, as we take on the Fire type gym next. Much like our rival Slugma, we set up with Bulk Up, as Slugma uses Overheat, making itself weaker with every hit. And when we do finally attack, one Aqua Jet is all it takes to KO. Numel being 4 times weak to Water is obviously a one-shot to Aqua Jet, and last is Torkoal, who despite having a high defense stat, goes down in one shot to an Aqua Jet, hitting us our 4th gym badge. For those who have played through Hoenn know what's happening there, and it is also the reason I wanted to pick up Dig. Norman leads with a Slacking, a Pokemon who has stats higher than some legendary Pokemon. It however has a massive drawback to counter that. Its ability Torrent makes it so it can only move once every other turn. Couple that with a move like Dig that makes you semi-invulnerable for a turn, and now you start to see the plan. Although I actually mess up said plan, as I didn't realise that it being healed by a Hyper Potion doesn't count towards the Torrent. Thankfully though, it doesn't cost us the battle, and after we get back on track with our plan, it ends up being a fairly easy win in the end. On to the last mandatory rival fight. And for the first time this run, it's raining, which means our ability is actually active. Aqua Tail gets the KO on a Slugma. Buizel also gets put to sleep by Secret Power. That is because this battle is happening on a grassy field. And to follow that up, a second Secret Power gets a KO. Last again is Wailmer, but yet again it can't do much damage, and so we KO it with 2 Secret Power. And speaking of a move that has its power as a secret, we get Hidden Power. However, this time we don't need to faint wild Pokemon to find out its type, as we can just talk to the other NPC in this room. Talking to her, and we find out our Hidden Power is Electric. Honestly, pretty much perfect. We can now hit a water type. I generally can't think of any other type I would have wanted. Maybe ground? Armed and dangerous with our new move, we head on to the flying gym, with our first opponent being my favourite regional bird in Swellow. And in a rare occurrence of this run, we're slower. We slower and use bulk up in response to its double team. Again, the same happens in the following turn, but the Swallow is the first to blink, attacking with an aerial wave, as we bulk up 2 more times, before also attacking, but we do miss Aqua Tail twice, with the first time proving to be the lucky time, getting our first damage of the battle and our first KO on the board. Altaria is second, and despite Aqua Tail being resisted, it almost gets the one shot, as it uses Cotton Guard to raise its defense massively. So when it gets healed, our next Aqua Tail does significantly less damage. The following Aqua Tail also doesn't KO, taking them to just above red health. The Dragon Breath takes us to 19 HP, but thankfully that doesn't paralyze, so one more Aqua Tail can finally KO Altaria. Pelipper is a much simpler task, as our hidden power electric is 4 times effective against it and gets the one shot. After Skarmory, who we hit hard, however not hard enough, letting Skarmory gets an attack off on us, and it looks like we will surely lose this fight. However, we somehow survive Air Cutter with only 3 HP, allowing us to get one last hidden power electric off and win a very close fought battle. After that close battle, we take a relaxing fishing trip to catch a Magikarp for the next gym. Know where this is going? It's a double battle, although this battle is nowhere near the level of tension of the previous, as both their Pokemon are weak to water, so the battle is over almost as quick as it began. That battle gave us the ability to use Dive outside the battle, which we take advantage of to get a move I've wanted this entire run, Ice Beam. And we're still not finished with our supply run yet, but we can go and make the Shell Bell now that the tide is high. But you know, I do find the Shell Bell pretty interesting in how inconsistent it is in when you can get it from game to game. I can't really think of another item that is that inconsistent. This game does love its dramatic locations to fight the evil team, as this time we're fighting them at the bottom of the ocean. Archie again leads off with a Mighty Anna, and like last time, we need Power Up Punch to both raise our attack and KO it. His new Pokemon Mutt is next, but it's slow, and with us being +2 attack, an Aqua Tail can get a one shot. The super fast Crobat is next, and hits an Acrobatics, doing just under half HP to us, before an Aqua Tail is an Oko. Last is his Mega Pokemon, Mega Sharpedo. But as we're faster, we can use one more Power Up Punch to win the fight. Water remains a theme, as next is the last gym, the Water Gym. Wallace leads off with a Love Disc, whose main job is to get status conditions off with Attract and Sweet Kiss, and whilst it does do that, we do manage to take it out with 2 Power Up Punches. Wish Cache is next, but unlike our Kookfront run, it isn't the final boss, and so we take it out in one shot. Delio, being part ice, is weak to a Power Up Punch, but survives on literally 1 HP, although that does work out in our favour, as it means we can get another Power Up Punch off. Celio locked us into Power Up Punch with Encore. We punch the fish, as it sets up the rain, technically helping us by activating Swift Swim. Another punch then gets a KO as Encore ends, and last is Milotic. But we're at the highest possible attack we could possibly be, and so a strength is the most certain one shot we have ever seen on this channel. With that victory, we head on to Victory Road, and we see someone we haven't seen in ages, Wally. And he's improved quite a bit since last time. Altaria is his lead Pokemon, and starts the battle with a crit area wave, but all it can manage after that is an unhelpful safeguard, as we take it out with a strength. Buizel, the grass type, is next, but it is weak, and so we KO it with 1 strength. His next Pokemon, Magneton, is a bit scary though, or at least it would have been, if we didn't flinch it with Waterfall. And with it being fairly low HP after that flinch, we use Power Up Punch to boost our attack. Delcatty is next, but is also dealt with in 1 punch, thanks to a crit. And last is his Mega Gallade, who is mega disappointing, as it is down in 1 Waterfall. I said he improved, but to be fair, that bar wasn't very far off the ground from where he was. Here's our stats before the Elite Four, and whilst process of our stats is somewhat pleasing to look at, there's nothing really amazing here, but then again, we are at a much lower level than our previous run, so maybe that's playing a bit on my mind there. I don't know, the stats don't look too amazing, but I'm still confident we can win. Anyway, last chance to leave a comment guessing what level we'll win at, if we'll win at all. Elite Four time. Leads off with a Mighty Anna, but this one has Intimidate, so our attack is down from the start, making Power Up Punch our go-to move. A Vayne Swagger bring us to +2 attack by the end of the turn. And I must say, Intimidate and Swagger is an interesting combo to say the least. It somehow works out for the mighty Anna though, as we end up hitting ourselves in confusion 2 turns in a row and end up knocking ourselves out. Well, that was really unfortunate there. I have a feeling the next few attempts won't go that badly. The next attempt starts the same, including hitting ourselves on the second turn. However, this time we snap out of confusion and land another power up punch, knocking out mighty Anna, and end up being at +3 attack. And with the rest of his team all being weak to fighting, we go on a 1-punch spree. Shiftry, Cacturn, Sharpedo and Buizel, who end up getting the win. Moving on to Phoebe, and she leads with a Dusclops, and we start amazingly in this battle, both critting and flinching. So we can get an easy KO on the following turn to start the fight. The evolved form of Dusclops is out next in Dusknoir, but this time we don't flinch it, and it reveals it has a super effective Thunder Punch, and that proves to be enough to beat us in the following turn. Following that defeat, we switch up our moves, replacing Hidden Power with Bulk Up. Yet again, we get an amazing turn 1, flinching Dusclops. But this time when Dusknoir comes out, we use Bulk Up, raising both our attack and our defense, before getting another flinch with Waterfall, bringing out a 4 restore before KOing with 2 more Waterfalls. Sableye, having a much lower defense, is a one-shot, as is Bennett number 1 and Bennett number 2. Glacier, who is an Ice-type user, is next, and leads with a Glalie, who we first hit with a power-up punch, as all it does is set up the Hail, so we bulk up on his second turn, and this is the turn Glalie switches to attack, hitting a Crunch. Although it doesn't really do that much damage to us, but we hit a second power-up punch to get the KO. The massive bulk of Walrein is next, and fires a power-up punch to land a 100% accurate Blizzard. Although its surviving power-up punch is actually a benefit to us, as it allows us to boost our attack even further with another punch. Froslass being a ghost type means we have to switch to Waterfall, but it's a one-shot, and in a literal sense, the following turn is the exact same. And in the spirit of the same Pokemon going down to the same move, her second Glalie goes down to a power-up punch. Last is Drake, who leads off with Altaria. You know, I swear this Pokemon wasn't as common in the games before I started doing solo runs. Anyway, it goes down to a single Ice Beam after we used Bulk Up twice. Flygon is a one-shot to Ice Beam, and then the pseudo-legendary Pokemon Salamence is third. Timidate drops our attack, so we take a risk here, using Bulk Up. A Dragon Rush misses. The following turn is a repeat, and feeling I've pushed my luck as far as it will go, I use Ice Beam to one-shot the Salamence. His second Flygon is out, and is also a one-shot to an Ice Beam, and last is the reason we have been using Bulk Up, Kingdra. We use Power Up Punch, doing less damage than I expected, as it uses Yawn, so we go for a Power Up Punch, and get a potentially very much needed crit to win. Champion time! They lead off with the physically bulky Pokemon Skarmory, so we target its special side with Ice Beam. We get a massive turn of luck here, with only a 10% chance of freezing coming through, so we push our luck here with Bulk Up, for critting with a Waterfall. Credilli is next, and it's another turn of massive luck here, as we flinch with Waterfall. However, we do less damage than I was expecting. So I test Power Up Punch to see if it would do more damage, expecting to be KO'd by Giga Drain, for the Credilli to instead use Confuse Ray. The following turn they decide to use a full restore, but we crit his second Pokemon, ends up taking it down from full HP. Aggron is third, and decides this is the first time in the fight I can actually set up somewhat safely. We use Bulk Up, and the threat of a Stone Edge crit is there, as it does land, and thankfully on the following turn, we snap out of confusion, which reduces our chance of actually losing this fight. We bulk up again, and Stone Edge misses this time, so we go for another bulk up, testing our luck. Aggron connects on this turn, only at 80 HP, and so knowing our luck could fail at any moment and them getting a crit, we go for a power up punch, taking Aggron down to Sturdy, as Aggron does land another Stone Edge, but thankfully doesn't crit. Steven then inadvertently helps us, as he restores Aggron to full HP, so we reactivate Sturdy with another power up punch, but also heal off our Shell Bell, before another power up punch then does get the KO. Play-Doh is his 4th Pokemon, but with it being slower, it only serves to heal us further with our Shell Bell, as it is down in one shot. And the same goes for his 2nd fossil Pokemon of the fight, Armaldo. Last is the 2nd pseudo-legendary Pokemon of the region, and Steven's ace, Metagross, also happens to be his Mega Pokemon, but even that can't stop Jeff Jr. from being faster and landing a waterfall to get the one shot and confirming us as the champion of Hoenn. Man, that was absurdly lucky. Not even that, not even Steven. That entire run. I think legitimately, I have used all my luck for like the next 50 years. I'm not even kidding. I've used it all on Pokemon. But yeah. But like, even the first 2 gym leaders, using the wrong moves when we could have lost there. If Roxanne used Rock Tomb, probably attacked. We lose their first try. It doesn't really have an effect in the run, but that's just the example there. And then the Elite Four itself, the not hitting ourselves in confusion on our 2nd attempt against Sydney. The flinches on Dusclops, the critical hits, but I got Waterfall because it has a flinch chance and we have high speed. I did not expect Waterfall to be as helpful as it was there. Okay, but outside of that luck, I actually think we got to most of the key fights at the perfect level. Winona is actually probably the perfect example of that. We was down to 3 HP there. I still don't know how we survived that egg gutter, to be fair. Overall, it was a pretty smooth run. I don't think I had to grind at all in this run. Actually, no, I did a little grind for Watson. Because I thought I would need it at levels, and, well, I kind of did, kind of didn't. Oh yeah, also, let me know what you think of this single screen, but with more info style of the video. If you don't like it, I can probably make some sort of middle ground between a dual screen and info. It was just, I felt the bottom screen, whilst having this sort of overlay, it was a bit redundant. Anyway, I think considering our last few runs now have been more new gen, I'm thinking we should go old school. I'm thinking Poochyena, Fire Red. You know, running a dark type in Kanto, a region not made to encounter the dark type at all. That is interesting. Yeah, let's go over that. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Hope to see you next Saturday.